So hi guys and girls, I'm here to dispel the myth around protective partitions and when you take a hard drive out of your computer, you put it into another one and via an external device usually, and it tells you that the drive needs formatting and you can't see all your data on it. So bit of a nuisance value. I recently had a problem where my power supply was failing, and it's working again now actually, but I'm using another supply to offload it a bit. But the problem was I had to revert to my laptop for a backup system, and I needed my backup data, and I couldn't see the data. One connector was telling me that it needed initializing and formatting. Another connector was telling me it was a protected partition and you can't see any data. So I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna connect via this device, which is just an external SATA to USB connector. I've got other types here. I've got 1 second. So I've got this type here as well. I'm not going to use that. It doesn't matter what type you use really. They all give the same issue. And when you look at the forums and things, it says you have to download some software, you have to try and back up your hard drive and then reformat it. But what I'm here to say is that you don't need any special software. It's not that Windows is unable to read it. It's the firmware that you're using. So it's the electronics within these devices, whether that be a cable or a little box like that. That's the issue. And I'll demonstrate that to you. So here we have on my, yep, just checking I got the right screen there. No, I haven't. 1 second. Here we have on my USB devices, my 4 terabyte drive. So that's a 4 terabyte drive there. And it says H, J, and K. Now I'm going to eject that device and put it into my external connector. So give me 1 second to, hopefully that will just eject. Otherwise I'll have to pause and spend some time while it ejects. That's fine, that's ejected. I'm just going to put this on some power and then stick the drive in. Give me 1 second. As I disappear into the ether, connect up my little drive here. And then I'll take my drive out of my removable bay, and you can hear it coming out of the computer. I'm going to switch it on in the USB to SATA reader. So here we have it now. Give me a second. And all I'm seeing now here is eject Sabrent. So there's no drives there. And if I go into Windows Explorer, I can't see it. That's my 14 terabyte. This one is seen as protected partition as well. And if I go into Disk Manager, so I'll just type in Disk Manager here. It already comes up, but you type in Disk Manager. Just says healthy GBT protected partition, and I can't see the drive in Windows. Now it's not that Windows can't see it. All you actually need to be able to see that is to connect it via one of these. Now there's different versions of this, and I'll show you this working. So I've got 2 here. These are, $6.98 each. I've got 2 of them. You can actually get the complete kit, which enables you to, let me just narrow me down there. You have the IDE and SATA connector to USB. This is the power supply, which has a Molex, and that's a Molex to SATA power connector. And then you have the SATA lead itself and the power plug. So this enables you to connect any type of old device or SATA device. This is the USB 3. The old type I've got is USB 2. So I've not tried this one, but I would assume that the firmware is hopefully similar. If it's not, you need one of these type here, which allows you to connect both the SATA, you can connect the SATA via there, and the old IDE types via these connectors here, and you just plug that into your port. Now I'll show you that protected partition comes up as seen within Windows now using one of these devices. Give me 1 second. So I just had to get the connector and get the power supply. So here's the device itself. Just see if I can, there's the SATA connection on there. And you've got the old IDE type for the older drives. On the outside goes to the USB. This is USB 2. So I'm now going to eject the Sabrent, which is the device. I'm going to take my drive out of there. And here is the drive itself. Okay. It's a 4 terabyte. I'm going to connect that to the SATA. There. Then I'm going to connect a power connector to it from the power supply. Okay, I can feel that there booting up. Then I have to take my lead and plug it into my USB port on the computer. I have to wait for a second in order to get that up. It will soon recognize the device. There you go. And I'll probably get some windows popping up now. There you go. It's actually coming up on another screen. It's showing my 2 drives there. 3 drives, sorry, as they're recognized by Windows. So here we now have the K drive again, the H drive, and the J drive. Totally viewable within Windows. And if I go to my disk management, totally viewable within disk management as well. Previously seen as a protected partition and unable to access data. So if you want to access the data on something that's shown as a protected partition on your computer after taking out another device and you're plugging it into perhaps an external port or something, all you need is one of these connectors. There's lots of different makes. This is simply off, you can see there that that's showing the setup. You've got the hard drive, you've got the SATA connector going into there. You know, I didn't actually realize you could connect more than one device. Now here they're showing 3 devices connected, but I don't know if that's the case or not. Never tried it. But the point is that you got. I'm not sure that the one SATA would read 3 devices, try it and see how it goes, I suppose. So but you've got the power supply goes into the power of the device. That's you'd normally have that as a Molex. That Molex would go onto a Molex IDE adapter, as in this setup here. Okay, but the device itself is, you know, a little over £5, £6 or so, and it's a bit of a myth that Windows can't see the protective devices because they've been partitioned differently. Yeah, they've been structured differently with different sort of formats probably, but it's purely the firmware that's the issue. It's the device that you're using to connect it to the computer. Because Windows doesn't have a problem seeing it at all. So all you need, if you're seeing the protected partition, you need access to your data is one of these. That's it. And you can plug it in and access your data again. This is a USB 2 device. As I showed you, you can get USB 3 devices as well. So you can use them via the fast connections. I should imagine they would work in the same way to this, because it's the firmware for the IDE adapter as opposed to the SATA to USB that seems to be different. Okay, I was aware that I could see my drives on this computer. It's the same computer actually, but when I take them from internally to externally, it's the devices that I'm using to connect to the computer, and I needed access to my backups because my power supply had gone down, and I also trade, so I need access to my machines in order to get access to the internet and so forth, do my trading and what have you. So protected partitions, when you read all the forums, it's a major problem. Yes, if you want to use that drive as an external one, then you will have to probably format it in the external source. But there's no reason why you can't just use Windows. You don't need to download any special software. Just use Windows to copy the files that you want to save over to another drive, and then format it so that you can use it in the external device. That's it, because it's a firmware issue. It's not a Windows software issue, not being able to read the different partitions. This is the same computer and I still have the same problem. It's because of the firmware that you're using. It's the software within the chips, basically, that isn't decoding the information sufficiently well enough for Windows to be able to see the information that's there. But it's not that Windows can't see it. All you need is a device that enables you to. And for £6, no, it'll enable you to see pretty much any drive that you want to see. That's it. So that's dispelling the myths around the problems with protected partitions, and even the times when you get an information saying this drive needs formatting, but you've just taken out of another computer. You think, oh, I might have damaged it. No, you haven't. It's the firmware. I tried it with another cable that I purchased. I thought, oh, that looks handy. It looks nice, and you know, the IDE and sorry, the SATA power and the SATA cable were in one block. Thought I'd try that, and it came up that the disk needed initialising and formatting. I put it back in the computer. It was working fine. So it was purely the chip firmware within that device that was causing the problem. And that's it, really. So as soon as I connect it via this lead, it works. So that's dispelling the myth for you. Don't listen to the forums on the internet. Most of these people don't seem to know what they're on about. It's a well discussed issue, but I've not seen anybody say that it's a firmware issue and simply get one of these devices. So here it is. There's a solution for you. If you're seeing a protected partition, you need access to your data, just get one of these devices. You should be able to see it. All right. So I hope that helps. It certainly helped me. I was aware that I could see it via this device because I've used my drives before. But I was a bit confused when I couldn't see it in an external reader. I thought, oh, what's going on here? I tried my old device and hey presto, it's working again. So you won't lose your data if you see a protected partition message. just get one of these, connect to USB, save all the data that you want to save onto a drive that you can see, and then if you want to use that drive in external source, then reformat it in order to put that data back on it. Or if it's just a temporary measure while you fix your computer, which was what mine was, then just use one of these connectors in the interim to get access to your data, and put it back in the machine when you're finished with it. Okay, so I hope that helps. It certainly helped me. You take care now.